This client recently refinanced, okay, and came to us and said, listen, we want to be able to manage our debt better. We heard you, but we heard you after we refinanced. And so this is what we're talking about. And I said, now, and I asked two things. How much did you pay for your refinance? That's number one. And then number two, how long were you in your other mortgage before you refinanced? And they said, well, we were in our other mortgage 6 years. And I said, by refinancing to a new 30-year mortgage, do you realize now that you have a 36-year mortgage? And it was just silence. You're already 6 years into a 30-year mortgage, and then you refinance to get a lower interest rate and a lower payment. And then you say, okay, and now I get a new 30-year mortgage. Folks, that's 36 years now. Did you realize the average American refinances their loan every 5 to 7 years? In Canada, it is required to refi every 5 years. It's required. All right. But here we choose to do it every 5 to 7 years. Can you imagine? Americans don't have 30-year mortgages. We have a string of 5 to 7 year mortgages until we die. Folks, it's time out for that. Who's promoting that? So let me tell you something. If you're refinancing to get a lower interest rate, okay, and a lot of people do because this is what we're taught. We're taught if you can save a point or two, go ahead and refinance because you'll get that lower interest rate and lower your payments. Folks, I'm here to tell you, and I need everybody to listen up close because here is the main reason why your payment is lowered, okay, when you refinance. It is not because of your interest rate. It is because you take what you have left, your principal balance, your remaining principal balance, and divide it by a new 360 payments. That is the major contributor to your lower payment, not the interest rate. Okay. So when we ask, why are you refinancing? He said, to get a lower interest rate, that's somehow going to help me pay off the loan faster and save money. I'm here to tell you it does not. Okay, so how much did we pay for the refinance? And generally, it's somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000. This one cost $11,000. And now, let me tell you something. How the refinance is sold is this way. When we take the $11,000 and then we take the decrease in our monthly payment, then we are asked to take the decrease. So let's say we're saving $200 or $300, divide that into the $11,000, and then you'll know how long you have to be in the loan to recoup your $11,000. And that's how it's sold. Folks, that is completely and utterly wrong. Don't do it that way. And I'm going to tell you why, because it's very, very misleading to take your savings and divide it into the closing costs to figure out when you're going to recoup what you're paying for the refinance. And here's why. All right. Right now on the screen, we have a refinance here, and it's $255,000. This refinance cost $11,000. So these folks were paid down to $244,000. They refinanced their loan to get a better interest rate. Okay. So now they're making their new payment. And listen, they walk out very happy because their payment has been lowered and they've got a better interest rate than they had before. But guess what? The bank is smiling too. How can they both be smiling? All right. Listen, what's going on with refi fantasy and how it is harder to pay off a mortgage with a lower interest rate. So here's what we're talking about, folks. So we have a new loan, a new 30-year loan, $255,000 at 3.625. Our new payment is 1163. I'm going to pull up another one here. Our old payment was 1332.57, and our new payment now is 1163. We'll switch back so you can see 1332. So let's just kind of round that off to about 200 bucks. Okay. So about 200 bucks difference. And so everybody's happy. But let me ask you a question. If by refinancing you are saving money, then who would have to be losing it? And your brain is saying the bank. But for some reason, your lips just can't say that, because the reason is, why would the bank do this? Stuff your mailbox full. They have to pay somebody to make sure that all of these mailers go out, stuffing your mailbox full to offer you a refinance. They're paying somebody to blow up your phone right at 6:02 p.m. when you're sitting down for dinner. Okay? And your phone just starts ringing, offering you a refinance. They're paying somebody to leave you that message, and when you call back, they're paying somebody to answer that phone to take your information about the refinance. They're paying someone to get that over to a loan officer, and then that loan officer works up your deal and then gives it back to you and says, now here is what you can do. You can save about $200 a month. You can lower your interest rate. And then we're going to tell you, by taking that savings, that $200, and dividing it into $11,000, then and that's going to tell you when you are going to recoup your fee. So let's take a look at this. I'm putting on the screen 11,000 divided by 200. Let's say 200. So that's 55 months. After 55 months, you can get your 11,000 back. Okay, 60 months. That's 5 years. You see what I'm saying? You have to stay in it that long to recoup your fee. Here's what happens. You see what I'm talking about here? 60 months is 5 years. The average person refinances, when did I say? Every 5 to 7 years. Just in time to refinance again and get a brand new 30-year mortgage. That's how it's done. All right. I've seen it over and over and over again. But here's the truth of the matter. The truth is, it's not that. So here's what we're going to scroll down to. Now we have a brand new interest rate that's lower. And so we're taking that 255,000 where we have a brand new interest rate of 3.625. And now the bank wants, over 30 years, $163,664.83 in interest. Now, I've never been a math genius. Like I said, I look at amortization schedules because of my Asperger's, and I see the patterns. That doesn't mean I'm good at math. I'm not good at math. I see things in pictures, and when I put it together a different way, I get a different result. So I'm not good at math. I'm just good at deciphering puzzles and putting it back together so it benefits all of us. So here's what we're talking about. Here's my question. Does $163,664.83, does this number look like 3.625% of this number? Well, the reason why it doesn't is because it isn't. It's actually, look over to the left here. It's actually 64% of that number. So when we amortize 3.625, we actually turn this into 64%. Now, it is required now in the United States, it's required that 3 days before you close on your original loan or your refinance, you get paperwork that says, and on one of these pages that says, here's your new interest rate, it has these words: total interest paid as a percentage of principal, your new interest is 64.178% if you keep it for the entire 30 years. That came into being in October 2015. Now, we've been doing this business since 2006. But when that happened, thank you, President Obama, but when this became the law of the land, my phone started ringing off the hook, and it hasn't stopped since. Okay. When we find out that our 3.625 really means 64.178, what we're talking about. I never thought of it that way before. My goodness. So let's take a look at this thing. Remember, I said we rolled into this loan the $11,000 fee into this loan. Look what happens. Do you see? Here's our principal payment. This is how much we borrowed. This is the interest on that. So when you throw your $11,000 loan into this thing, you're actually hiding a loan within the loan. Oops. We're placing a loan within the loan. By rolling it in to the mortgage, what you're saying is, bank, please lend me $11,000. You got to pay the fee. So you're asking the bank to lend you an additional $11,000 for the fee. But you're thinking 3.625 in 55 months, I'm going to recoup my fee. Oh, listen, we're doing good. All right. Watch this. Here's cumulative principal. This is the column that adds up all the principal payments. Here's cumulative interest. We're talking column 3 and column 4. Okay. After 1 year, we've paid this loan down by $4,790.79. Folks, this is the fee. When you roll the fee onto your loan, all you're doing in the first months of your new refinance is just paying off the fee. That's it. So in the first year on this mortgage, you've only paid the fee down by $4,790.79. But guess how much interest you've paid on it already? $9,165.21. Folks, if I asked you, would you borrow $4,700 for 12 months and then sign a contract that says you're going to pay $9,000 interest on a $4,000 loan in 12 months? If I asked you to do that, you'd say, heck no, probably not in those words. But no, okay? Here's what we're talking about. All right. So now we're paying back the fee because we're hiding the fee alone within the loan. After 2 years, what? We still haven't paid the fee back? After 2 years, and we're up to 18 grand in interest on the fee. We finally pay back the $11,000 after 27 months. You know what I call this, folks? What I call this is how not to pay a dime on your mortgage for 27 months and still keep your house. Because for 27 months, all we did was pay off the fee. Now we go back to the original mortgage we had before the refinance. So here's where we are, folks. $11,000. It takes 27 months to pay back $11,000. And look here, $20,000 in interest. So how much did the refinance actually cost? $31,400. $31,400. So listen, anybody, if I borrow $11,000 and I pay back that money and I pay $11,000 interest on $11,000 loan, what is that real interest rate? Anyone? What's the real interest rate there?
I mean, whatever the overall interest cost is.
Yeah. Okay. So to pay $11,000 interest on $11,000 loan, folks, isn't that 100% interest?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going on here? We actually paid almost $21,000 on an $11,000 loan. Wouldn't that be nearly 200%? Folks,
that's accurate.
Here's what's happening. Banks refi you to roll the fee into the loan so that they can legally charge you 200% interest on a loan. And these are people with perfect credit. People with perfect credit are fooled into paying 200% interest on a loan. just to get that refinance.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.